Hello, and today I'm going to be doing a reading. Every time I move in my chair, I'm like, is that going to make a noise? And is that going to be picked up? I'm going to be doing a reading today of a Goosebumps book. This is a Give Yourself Goosebumps. So this is like a choose your own adventure book. I'll show you guys an example here. If I can find one quickly, you'd think I would. So you're going to get to points in the book and you're going to make decisions. And it'll say if you decide this, if you decide that. Because there's different paths throughout the it's not a regular Goosebumps book. There's a series of them. It's also, the people at Choose Your Own Adventure did Choose Your Own Nightmare. So I have a few Choose Your Own Goosebumps. So I'm going to stick with the number one that I'm doing. I have a few others, yeah. Because I pre-screened this one a little bit. And it says there are 20 different endings. I've gotten 4 of them so far. So it is Escape from Carnival of Horrors. Check out the cover again real quick. They made them all shiny. It's so 90s. I do really love these. I wish I had the whole set. So beware, do not read this book from beginning to end. Welcome to the Carnival of Horrors. This is no ordinary carnival. Here you'll find awesome rides, exciting games of chance, and the weirdest freak show ever. Do you dare enter? Are you brave enough to risk the supersonic space coaster? Will you know whom to trust? The snake lady or the three-headed man? Can you make it through the House of Horrors alive? This scary adventure is all about you. You're in control. You decide what will happen. And you decide how terrifying the scares will be. Start on page 1, then follow the instructions at the bottom of each page. You make the choices. If you make the right choices, you'll escape from the spine-tingling Carnival of Horrors in time. I have as much time as I want. If you make the wrong choice, beware. So take a long, deep breath, cross your fingers, and turn to page 1 to give yourself goosebumps. What do you want to do? I don't know, Patty. What do you want to do? Not fair, Brad. I asked you first. Patty and Brad, your two best friends, arguing, as usual. It's the last week of August, and Patty and Brad haven't stopped fighting since your summer vacation started. Patty likes being bossy. You don't mind. It's no big deal. It's hard to win a fight with her anyway. You don't know why Brad even tries. You guess it's because he doesn't want to look like a wimp in front of a girl. There's nothing to do. I guess I'll just go home, Brad says. He shoves his hands in his pockets, then his shoulders slump, and he sort of shrills up. You guess Brad is kind of a wimp, even if he is your best friend. You're so boring, Brad, Patty complains. Whenever Patty complains, her freckles really pop out. Now, there are about 1 million of them spread across her face. Hey, I know what we should do, Patty suddenly bursts out. Let's bike over to Bennett's Field and watch them set up the carnival. I don't know, you answer. It's getting dark, and Mom said I have to be in by 9. It's only a quick bike ride, Brad says. Are you some kind of wimp? Brad calling you a wimp? You can't believe it. Okay, you agree. But if it's bad as last year, there won't be much to see. Don't you remember the main attraction? You remind him. The ride they called Terror Track? It turned out to be a baby choo-choo train that circled around and around and around. It doesn't matter what you say. Patty's made up her mind. You're going to ride over to the carnival. A hot, humid breeze blows in your face as you pedal along. Patty's in the lead, no surprise, and Brad's puffing behind you. It's dark by the time you reach Bennett's Field. You and your friends drop your bikes in the grass and race across the moonlit field toward the huge wooden fence that surrounds the carnival. As you reach the carnival entrance, you hear music coming from inside. Not the usual corny organ stuff, but some really strange music. It sounds familiar and totally new at the same time. Brad stretches his neck to try and peer over the fence, but no luck. The fence is way too high. Patty jiggles the padlock on the door. It's sealed shut. I guess we'll have to wait till tomorrow night when the carnival opens, Brad says. No way, Patty says. Let's climb the fence. Now. Are you crazy, Brad says. We'll get caught. Come on, there's probably no one in there, Patty replies. Your friends turn to you to cast the deciding vote. You glance at your watch. It's almost 9 p.m. If you're going to get home in time, you should start back now. What are you going to do? If you decide to go home, turn to page 10. If you climb the fence to get inside, turn to page 6. Well, why don't we go home, honestly? Like, it's getting late. Let's go to page 10. I feel like, things are going to be better if you go home. You've decided not to sneak into the carnival? You're going home instead? Well, it's a good thing Patty usually makes all the decisions. Otherwise, you'd never have any fun. And this book would be over before it began. Go ahead, take a deep breath, then go climb the fence. You're not scared, are you? Turn back to page 6. Okay, it's like a non-choice. Let's do it, you say to your friends. Let's climb the fence. Patty is halfway up before you finish speaking. You let Brad go next. You're last. It's hard to climb up. There's really no place on the fence to get a good grip. But you make it to the top, swing your legs over, and tumble down. You land on the grass. You're inside. You and your friends gaze around. It's pretty dark. The only light comes from torches. At first, the carnival looks the same as it always does. Dinky rides, hot dog wagons. Then the lights start to flicker on in every corner. The rides start to move. It's as if the whole place is magically coming to life. Hey, look at that giant roller coaster, you exclaim, pointing up ahead. They never had a roller coaster before. Yeah, Brad agrees. The whole place is a lot bigger than last year. This is awesome, Patty says as she sprints towards the rides. You and Brad take off after Patty. You all stop in front of the roller coaster. Wow, Patty says as she gazes up at it. It's like a rocket to outer space. Beyond the roller coaster, you spy a castle surrounded by a moat and a spooky-looking haunted house sitting on top of a hill. These are the coolest rides I've ever seen, you say. They still have that dumb choo-choo train over there, you point out. But we could ride this stuff all night and never go near it. Patty grabs your arms and tugs you over to the other side of the carnival, to the midway. Brad races after you. Hey, where are all those dinky wooden booths from last year, you ask, as you gawk at the amazing games of chance. They're gone, and in their place a giant video game, and huge spinning wheels studded out with hundreds of blinking colored lights. Get a load of that, Brad suddenly cries out. You and Patty spin around. You can't believe what you see. Be more amazed on page 87. You're staring at a sign that reads, World's Freakiest Freak Show. The three of you gape at the pictures. There's the three-headed man with the ugliest collection of faces you've ever seen. And the snake lady, a young blonde girl with a beautiful face and the body of a slithering snake. This is you start to say, but you don't finish, because a large hand comes down across your shoulder, hard. You slowly turn and gaze up at the huge man with shoulders wider than a refrigerator. He has coal black eyes with a thick mustache to match. He looks strong enough and mean enough to pitch you over the fence with one hand. What are you doing here? His deep voice booms. You're not allowed in here, he says, pointing directly at you. We're sorry, you say, hoping you appear sorry and not just scared. We wanted to look around, that's all, but we'll leave. Right now. His eyes stare into yours. He clamps both his hands down on your shoulders and says, You're not going anywhere. What do you mean, Brad asks, trembling all over. I just had an idea, a great idea, the man replies. I want you kids to try out the rides before the grand opening tomorrow. Patty's eyes open wide. Cool, she says. Are you sure it's all right with the owner, you ask? I'm Big Owl, the manager, and what I say around here goes. Big Owl digs around his checkered jacket and pulls out 3 maps. He hands one to each of you. Study them carefully, he says. If you have any questions, ask them now. Your eyes fall upon the map. You have a question, but when you gaze up at Big Owl, he's gone. He's vanished. A whole carnival to ourselves, Patty exclaims. Where should we start? You stare at the map once again. You notice that the carnival is split in half. One side are the rides, tons of them. The other side is the midway, packed with games of chance and the freak show. What will you try first? Here is a decision to make. Go to the rides, return to page 34. To check out the midway, turn to page 77. Well, I like games. Why don't we go to 77 and try some games out? I'm usually too tall for the rides, actually. Let's head for the midway and play some games, you say. You and Patty and Brad jogged down a wide avenue. Tents of every color line the street. Carnival music blares from loudspeakers. You spot a green neon sign flashing above a yellow striped tent. The sign reads, Madame Zeno, fortune teller. Excellent, you exclaim. I'm going in. You tell your friends to catch up with them in a minute. You lift the tent flap. Inside, one small candle flickers in the dark. You hear a low voice call out, Enter my chamber. This is Madame Zeno, sitting in the shadows. She wears a long red dress dotted with brightly colored gems. They shimmer in the candlelight. Her black hair tumbles to her shoulders as she bends over a large crystal ball. Welcome, she whispers. Then she reaches out and gently lifts your hand. Let me tell you your future. Madame Zeno studies your hand closely. She traces the lines in your hand with her soft fingers. I see horror in your future. In your immediate future, she warns. What kind of horror? You stammer. What do you mean? Madame Zeno releases your hand. She picks up a strange deck of cards. She spreads them out on the table. You notice the cards have pictures. A headless man, a bloody sword, a large evil eye. She gathers up all the cards and flips the deck over. Then she deals out a red card and a blue card. Turn one over, she commands. Learn your fate. You pick red, or do you pick blue? How can I not pick red? I almost always pick red. Maybe I should pick blue. Let's pick blue. We'll go to page 59, picking blue. Blue is your favorite color. No. No, is it too late? You turn the blue card over. There is a message. Help us. You are our only hope. Hurry to the back door of the freak show. Signed, The Freaks. What does this mean? You ask Madame Zeno. She stares deep into your eyes. Her lips tremble. She leans forward. She's about to speak. And then the lights go out. And a blood-curdling scream rips through the dark. You start to bolt for the door when the dim light suddenly flickers. You stare across the table. Madame Zeno is gone. You reach out to take the card, and it bursts into red-hot flames. Ooh, now it's red. In seconds, the entire tent fills with thick smoke. Flames shoot across the floor. You run for the door. Outside, you gulp the fresh air. You made it. You glance back. No smoke, no fire, no tent. Everything has disappeared. What should you do now? If you decide to help the freaks, go to page 11. If you don't want to help the freaks, go to page 113. Another decision that must be made. Well, I think I'd like to help the freaks. I think I'm going to try that out. I'm going to go to page 11. You've decided to help the freaks. As you race down the midway, you spot Brad and Patty. Listen, guys, you tell them, lowering your voice, we've got a problem, a big problem. You take a deep breath and tell them all about Madame Zeno and the blue card. So, you finish saying, somebody might need our help in the back of the freak show. What's a freak? Brad asks nervously. Remember the poster we saw when we came in? The one with the three-headed man and the lady with the snake body? You remind him. Brad bites down on his lips. Are they really real? Sure they're real, Patty chimes in. I once saw a bearded lady at the circus. I don't know, Brad says. It sounds kind of creepy. Well, Madame Zeno said this was my fate. I'm going to help them. Whatever they are you guys in? You bet, Patty answers, her eyes shining with excitement. Okay, I'll go, Brad mumbles. Then let's hurry, you exclaim. 5 minutes later, the three of you are sneaking down a dark alley. Brad is so frightened he's practically walking on top of you. The alley is littered with large cardboard boxes and overflowing trash cans, and it smells like dead fish. You know, clean up an unopened Carnival? Anyway. Hey, quit stepping on my shoe, you say to Brad. I'm not stepping on your shoe, he shouts back. I'm not anywhere near your stupid shoe. You glance down and nearly scream. Brad's right. He's not stepping on you. But about a dozen rats are. You shake your foot wildly. Rats scurry off. Brad catches the sight of the rats and tries to bolt. You and Patty quickly pull him back. Hey, look, Patty says, pointing up ahead. A door. On the door you see a big sign that reads, Keep out. So you go in. The room is dark, but all around you hear hushed moans. Help us! Help us! We're in prison. Patty says, Look at the prisoners, they're weird. Patty's right, and your eyes grow accustomed to the darkness. You see cell after cell, each one holds a strange-looking prisoner. There's an enormous fat lady who's nearly bursting out of the bars, a giant, a dwarf, a young lady with a boa constrictor wrapped around her waist, and a woman with a long black beard. We're the freaks, the snake lady says. Every night when the show ends, the master locks us up. The master? You mean Big Al? You start to say. You must help us, the giant interrupts. Shh, the snake lady says. The master's coming. You mustn't be here. Go that way. She points to the door down the hall. So we can escape through the door down the hall and go to page 48. Or we can stay and talk to Big Al, page 62. I feel like I don't really trust Big Al, and I kind of want to explore this freak narrative, so I'm going to go to page 48 and go run away. Come on, Patty cries, come on! Then, without another word, she races off. You and Brad dash after her. I hope Patty knows what she's doing, you think as you try to catch up, because right now, it doesn't look that way. Patty leads through a maze of underground passageway. Then, just as about to yell, stop, she does. And you find yourself standing outside in front of a barbed wire fence. Up ahead, you spot an opening. Let's go in, Patty says. The three of you creep through the fence and trudge through some tall, wet grass. You gaze around, but it's way too dark to see. You can hear it perfectly, and that sounds reach your ears and make your skin crawl, slithering. You definitely hear slithering and hissing. You want to leave, you spin around, but you can't find an opening in the fence. You do see something, a sign. I feel like maybe I was tricked. Snake lady might have tricked me. There's a sign, you call out to Patty and Brad. Let's see what it says. The three of you race through the wet grass. Your socks are drenched, and your sneakers squeak as you run. But that's not the sound that's sending chills down your spine. It's the hissing. It's growing louder. I'm not sure I want to read that sign, you call out to Patty and Brad. I know what you mean, Patty shouts back. I have a feeling we're not going to like what it says. And you don't. You reach the sign and read it. Reptile petting zoo. Who ever heard of a reptile petting zoo? What kind of carnival is this anyway? This is a carnival. Is evil, Brad stammers. You're about to agree when you notice the grass in front of you is swaying. Something is slithering through it, something big. And then it comes into view. Snake! Brad cries. You know you have to run, but which way? Left or right? If you want to run left, turn to page 125. If you want to run right, page 12. Well, I think I'm going to go with left. One, two, five. This way, you wave to Patty and Brad. The three of you turn to the left and keep running straight into a pond. Why didn't you tell us to stop? Patty whines. Don't complain to me, you shout back. We followed you through the fence. You turn around and slog your way back to the shore. Patty and Brad make it there first. You're a few feet away when you see it. An alligator with its mouth gaping open, revealing 2 rows of razor-sharp teeth. You freeze. Patty spots the alligator and yells, Quick! There's a log! Jump on it! You scramble up on the log, but it's no use. You're still an easy target. The alligator opens its huge mouth even wider. He slithers right up onto the log, and you can tell he's ready to crunch down on you. Ooh, 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 oh no, oh boy. Okay, page 43, no choice here, just, You're about to scream. It seems the only sensible thing to do, and then you remember the sign. Reptile petting zoo. You have an idea. It's a crazy idea, you know. But everything in this carnival is crazy. You can feel the alligator's hot breath on your arm, but instead of pulling your arm back, you stretch it out. What are you doing? Patty screams. Your fingers reach out over the alligator's open snout, on top of its head, and you pet him. Nice alligator. You purr as you stroke his scaly head. Your arm trembles, but you don't stop, and slowly, very slowly, the creature's mouth begins to shut. Then he rolls over and falls asleep. You slip quietly off the log, charge for the shore, and plow right into Big Al. Well, 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 look who we have here. Big Al sings out. Come with me. It's time for the final challenge. You have no choice. Follow Big Al to page 84. Big Al shoves you and your friends into a huge red tent. It seems to be set up for some kind of show. Red carpeted steps lead up to a platform which sits under a golden arch. The arch twinkles with thousands of colored lights that spell out Final Challenge. Trumpets blast as people flood into the viewing area. As they march in, they clap their hands and yell, Final, Final. Big Al leads you up the carpeted steps. You are standing on the platform now, in front of a shimmering curtain that hangs down from the arch. The crowd begins to chant, Sudden death, sudden death. What do you think that means? Patty asks. We go to 123. find out. The final challenge, Big Al announces, and the crowd goes wild. Then he turns to you and says, remember, the fun and games are over. Now you're playing for your life. You go first, Big Al says to you. You see Brad and Patty taken off the side by a huge man in a black hood. Two red-haired dwarfs in cloud costumes scurry up the steps to surprise you. They fit you with a new high-top sneaker. Sneakers with metal studs running up the backs. This is going to be some kind of race, you think, but then you change your mind when they snap a heavy helmet onto your head. The crowd's cheers grow louder. Big Al throws a switch. The curtain behind you parts, and whammo, the wall behind the curtain turns into a super magnet. You go zinging to the wall like a dart to a bullseye. Off to page 25. Seconds later, your head and back of your feet slam into the wall. I was doing so well. That was like my first. Anyway. You're hanging upside down in the middle of a gigantic magnetic wheel. Are you ready for the final challenge? Big Al asks. Of course not, you say. Let me down. We'll let you down, but not until you face the final challenge. One spin will decide your fate. If you win, you go. If you lose, you stay here forever. Will that be your fate? Big Al approaches the wheel. Brad and Patty are holding onto each other. Your heart is pounding. Your hands are sweating. This is it. One spin. He gives you the wheel. With you on it. A hard turn. Where will it stop? Where will it stop? Guess. Page 44, 74, 124. Ooh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 4. All fours. Oh, what do we decide? What do we decide? Which one could we do? Which one? We're on page 25. What kind of math? I don't know. I should have brought a dice. Let's go to 74. Let's go in the middle if you can't decide, right? Round and round you go. The world is a blur of colors. You hear the crowd screaming, final, 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 final. And the wheel stops. Ah, the crowd gasps. What does it mean? You win, Big Al says. Now come this way to collect your prize and go home. And now we head to 131. Sucker, you didn't really think you could get out of this easily, did you? Check out the title of this book. Escape from the Carnival of Horrors. Horrors! You need to face a lot more horrors, and then, maybe, you'll escape. Off to page 116. Zap! Big Al throws a switch and the magnet shuts off. You come flying down to Earth, right where Brad and Patty are waiting. I played your dumb game, now let us go, you tell Big Al. Big Al doesn't answer, but then the crowd does. Sudden death, sudden death, sudden death. The crowd surges toward you. They're not friendly. They back up against the wall. They back you up against the wall. You're trapped by a mob. You reach into your pocket hoping to find something that might help you, something to save you. If you want a can of Monster Blood, go to page 97. If you don't have the Monster Blood, go to page 27. We don't have Monster Blood, so... The crowd is closing in. Your pockets are empty. You have nothing to defend yourself with, so you run. You spot a crack in the wall next to the wheel. It's too small for an adult to squeeze through, but you can probably make it. Follow me, you yell out to Patty and Brad. As you squeeze through the opening, it leads to a backstage area, and then to a flap of another tent. You can hear the crowd behind you trying to follow you through the crack. Come on, we can slip under this tent, you say for once. No one argues with you. The three of you duck in and find yourself surrounded by another crowd. They're all seated in chairs and they don't move. They just stare at you with glassy eyes. They're dummies. That's why they don't move. They've got to be here somewhere, you hear Big Al's voice boom out outside the tent. Hey, this dummy just looks like one of those in the Goosebumps books, Patty says. You mean Night of the Living Dummy? Brad asks. Great. You think your friends are chatting about books minutes before you're about to be attacked by a mob. Then you get an idea. Remember those magic words that brought the dummy to life in the book? You ask your friends. Maybe we can bring this guy to life and he'll help us. He was pretty tough. Your friends agree. It's worth a try. I don't think I ever read that one. If you think the words are Karumari Odana, Lama Maluna Karano, go to page 69. If you think the words are Oompa Loopa Dummy Dupa, go to page 82. I'm going to go to page 69 for a couple of reasons. We're going 69. Karumari Aduna Luma Moluna Karano, you say the magic words and the dummy comes to life. He opens his mouth and speaks. Hey you. Your face reminds me of a wart I once had removed. Come on, you plead. We're the ones who brought you back to life. Aren't you going to be nice and to us? We need your help. I'm sorry, the dummy says. I'm sorry you're so ugly. And he laughs at his own lame jokes. You stare at him and his face grows serious. You brought me to life, he says slowly, but now you are my slaves. Forever, until the end. Wait. This isn't the way it's supposed to end. Quick, you have one last chance. If the fortune teller told you a secret number, go to that page now. She didn't. She didn't tell me. Did she? I don't think she did. Secret number. I think I picked a card. I really wonder what it is. I mean, it's the end, though, I guess. Like it says, if this, but the fortune teller didn't tell me a secret number. There's like no way to know. Where was the fortune teller? Like, where was she? I kind of want to just go back there and... Madam Zeno. Help some freaks. That's a good one. You think about Madam Zeno. I guess that's where it ends for me, because I'm like not finding it. That's the what that's so kind of frustrating, because I'm like, oh, now I gotta like go back through. Oh, here we go. This is, I don't know if we jumped to this. What do you mean the magic number could save my life? You ask Madame Zeno. But the fortune teller doesn't answer. She stares off into space. She seems to have fallen into a deep trance. You don't really believe her. These fortune tellers are all fakes, but you memorize the number anyway. 132. 132. I picked red instead of blue. I should have picked red instead of blue. 132. I picked red instead of blue. Madame Zeno puts the card back in the deck. She closes her eyes and waves you away with her jeweled hand. You guess the fortune telling is over. Okay, we're gonna... 132 would be the magic number. So let's go to 132. 132, the fortune teller said this number, right? It might save us, but how? Then you see it. In the corner, a tall silver locker with the number 132 painted in red. In here, you say, opening the door to the locker. You push Patty and Brad inside. As soon as you close the door, the locker begins to rattle and shake. You're nearly blinded by a bright white light. You hear a loud whooshing sound, and then all is silent. The door pops open, and you're amazed at what you see. You're outside, standing in Bennett's Field, gazing at the fence that surrounds the carnival. I guess we'll have to wait until tomorrow night when the carnival opens, Brad says. No way, Patty says. Let's climb the fence. What's going on here? You've guessed it. The silver locker was a time machine. You've gone back in time to the first moment you spotted the carnival. Now it appears as if you have to start all over again, fighting the horror after horror right up to the end. And this one doesn't have anything else like the other one had at the end with an extra part. Well, I got an ending. There's 20 endings. That was Give Yourself Goosebumps, Carnival of Horror. That was actually pretty cool, pretty good. I really love these. I wish I had all of them. I'd love to go through and do it again. What's really cool is when you pick one of these up and you hadn't done it in a while and like doing different choices. I was pretty sure I picked red the first time. Like I kind of screened it beforehand. I don't think any of the times I did it when I was reading it did I get like the alligator, like the petting zoo. So it's cool to get the cover. It's like I read through it and I'm like, what does this have to do with anything? Like he's really not in it. Probably because a carnival doesn't make cool art as much as that moment. That's actually a cool moment. But yeah, I love these things. There's a whole history to like Choose Your Own Adventure, Choose Your Own Nightmare, which pretty much was a response to Goosebumps doing Give Yourself Goosebumps, doing the same style. Really fun. Thank you for hanging out and doing that story with me. Hope you enjoyed it, and if so, maybe I'll do another one sometime. Definitely looking to get more of the books so I can keep doing them, and maybe I'll pre-screen them more. It's fun to get multiple endings, but what if that was a little unprepared on that one. Like, well, what if we had picked blue, red? That was interesting. It had some fun gimmicks in there. That was their first one. Might have been one that they put the most effort into as far as like tricks and things, and it was fun. It was enjoyable.